Well, it's Christmas again. Just got this delivered by the UPS truck. And I see from the name on the front, it's Scott from Michigan contacting me for one of a mail-in repair service project on his rewind starter. Told me his rewind starter, it's weird because he said it retracts, but the paws don't come out. So I don't know, it might be a broken spring inside. I'm not really sure, but we're gonna find out because T Mike's gonna fix it. So let's open the box and see what we got inside. Okay, got a nice little $100. I told him we'll start with that and see how the parts are. I'm hoping that we don't need to replace the spring. They can get expensive. And here's the starter. Standard rewind starter. Let's see what it looks like. Well, rewind. Oh. Hear that noise? Yeah, so I think that noise heard that noise before. Needs cleaning. The spring in there collects dirt and grime, and if it was greased too much, that collects on the spring, and it doesn't. When you pull it out, you're actually tightening the spring. When you let the rope go, it loosens the spring, and it needs lubrication and cleaning probably. So the pawl right here that he's talking about looks like it's moving, but if I had to say, it's moving backwards. When you pull it out, it's supposed to retract. I think the pawl is on there backwards. It's doing the opposite of what it should do. When you pull the rope, the pawl comes out and catches on the flywheel and spins it. I think this pawl just needs to be reversed, but I'm gonna take it out on my test motor. I might just go get the rewind starter on my test motor, bring it in and see what it's doing and show what this is doing and see if that's the problem. Might be an easy fix if everybody's ready. Here we go. Alright, so what I did, I went up in my eBay room and I found me a rewind starter. Not on my test motor, but the same thing. And I want you to look at when I pull the rope. When I pull the rope, look at this pawl. See how that pawl opens? On Scott's, it does the opposite. It comes in instead. And look at this spring. Look how loose this spring is on here. That spring is loose, loose, loose. On the working one, the spring is tight. Not sure what's going on here. Somebody looks like they've replaced this with the wrong parts. The spring is too loose. I'm going to have to work on that and see if it's the right part. Stay tuned. Okay, so what I did, I went outside and I grabbed my 18 horsepower rewind starter. And sure enough, when you pull on the rope, the pawl opens. And on Scott's, it doesn't open. It starts opened and it closes. It does the opposite. So I noticed if you look at the spring on the working one, it comes from underneath here, and on Scott's it's coming in from the top. I think this spring right here is on backwards. I'm going to take it off and make it look like this one, where the spring comes from underneath. That must shorten it up and tighten it where it's not loose anymore. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull the pawl off. Now take the spring off. I can take it back, put it on right, and then slip it back on. Here I go. So I flip the spring around, and it still does the same thing. And I've even now swapped the working pawl onto Scott's motor and back, and we still have the same problem. It's out in the normal position, and when you pull on it, it goes in. That's not right. Now, my next step is I've noticed that the spring, his spring is loose. It's got bands. All those bands should be in tight around here, like this one is tight. So I'm gonna tighten the spring. I'm gonna pull it all the way out, clamp it, turn it a few more turns clockwise, tighten that spring, and bring it back in, see if I can make it operate right. Troubleshooting the rewind starter problem. So now what I've done is I measured the working one. I pulled the spring out, and when I pull it out, it comes out 3.5 turns, and the rope ends up right here. When I pull Scott's out, it comes out 3.5 turns, but the rope is here, which means it's got too much rope on it. The rope should, this piece right here should be right here. And I'm going to do this one and show you. So I use a clamp. So when I pull this out, when I take the working one, the rope end starts here and it comes out 1, 2, 3, 3.25 turns, and the rope is right here. Okay, the rope is right here at the end. Now let's watch Scott's rewind starter. When you pull it out, it goes around. Here's the rope. It goes around 1, 2, 3, 3, and we're at the end of the rope here. It's not quite 3 turns. But the rope should be right here. It's not. Oh, I actually see what it is. I see what it is. The rope is spun around this way. Instead of going around this side, the rope has been put in backwards. I believe the rope is backwards. I'm going to fix that now. Which makes sense, because on the working one, when you pulled it counterclockwise, the pawl would open. But this one, the rope is in backwards, so when you're pulling it, it turns clockwise, and the pawl works backwards. I think this is going to solve the problem. Right. So this is getting real. So I put the rope in counterclockwise, but the first time I pulled it up, it went to the other side. So let's see. If I pull on the rope on this one, the wheel is going counterclockwise. if I pull the wheel on this one, it's going clockwise. This one is going counterclockwise, and this one is going clockwise. So what do you think the trouble is? The spring was put in backwards. The spring was put in clockwise. It needs to be put in counterclockwise. That is going to be the problem. Now the fun begins. If you've never taken one of these springs off and put them back in, it's a challenge. So here we go. I'm going to take this apart, take this nut out right here. Try to have to pull this off. The spring will be in there, and I'm going to have to take it off, flip it over, and put it in counterclockwise. And that ought to fix the problem. Here we go. Having fun now. Well, just as I suspected, I've taken the wheels off of the rewind starter, and this is the working one. Look how the spring is wound in there counterclockwise. Or, sorry, look how the spring is wound in clockwise. And on Scott's, it's going counterclockwise. So working, non-working. This spring needs to be reversed, pulled out, reversed, and set back in. And it can be a task to do that. So I'm going to give it a shot. I'll try to flip this one over and make it look like this one. And it ought to fix our problem. Here we go. Well, that wasn't too bad. So, clockwise. I just got to slip the wheels back on and test her. That was easy. Okay, slip the wheel back on, put the bolt in, put the pawl and the spring in, and look what happens. Now the pawl is coming out like it's supposed to. That's what's supposed to happen. That pawl is supposed to come out and catch the flywheel. Success. Now I'm going to go out and put it on my 18 horsepower and make sure it pulls the flywheel before I ship it back to Scott. One more test. Yes, sir. I have Scott's rewind starter on my 18 horsepower test motor, and sure enough, it works. Well, there you go. Another successful repair job on the mail-in repair service program. Scott's rewind starters fixed, had the springs backwards on the pawl, and the spring inside was wound wrong. I corrected that, and everything works great. Gonna stick it back in the box and ship it back to Scott. So if you have any parts you want T-Mike to work on, just contact me. I'll give you my address, ship it to me, put a little cash in the box. I'll fix it, make a video, and send it back to you. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. I love what I do. See y'all next time. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I know I enjoyed making it. If you did enjoy it, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I make at least one video every week. And then go ahead and hit the like button and join the T-Mike fraternity. So if you're this first time watching one of my videos, I have over 350 videos of everything you need to know about repair, maintaining, and restoring your vintage outboard motors. I specialize in Johnson & Evinrude's 3 horsepower to 20 horsepower, 1950s, 60s, and 70s. So as I said, I have every video you need to know on how to work on these motors. And if I don't have one, I want you to let me know. Just hit in the comments on one of the videos and tell me what video I need to make, and I'll make it for you. I've also got every part you need to work on these motors. I have an eBay store. You can get to my eBay store by googling T-Mike Vintage Outboards, or click on the link down below in the description. I have over 2,000 parts in my eBay store. I sell all the hardware. I sell all the kits, spark wires, ignition, magneto components, points, coils, condensers, gear case, seals, everything. I even have some printed, 3D printed plastic handle grips and other parts for you. So I have all the videos and I have all the parts you need. I also now am providing parts manuals. So I have over 150 hard copy parts manuals, 1923 to 1958. So you can get your parts manuals from me too. So this is my passion. My goal was to have every video, every part, and every parts manual that you need. And if I don't have what you need, let me know. You can always call me for technical assistance too. My number is 337-278-5429. Give me a shout out. I love text messaging. I'll try to help you and answer your question. So I enjoy what I do. I hope you're having as much fun as I am working on these motors. And remember, always remember, and never forget, here at T-Mike's Vintage Outboards, we're doing it one motor at a time. See you next video.